sports fans. Welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirit, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
Hey, Indiana. Let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
It's win or go home time, live from Paradise. And what makes a better Saturday afternoon than some tournament basketball? Hello and welcome into Hobart Arena at the Division III Rose-Hulman University in Terre Haute, Indiana. It's the Fightin' Engineers hosting the Mount St. Joseph Lions in the first round of the Heartland Crossroads men's basketball tournament. I'm Nathaniel Finch with Chris Schumerth and our entire crew on RHIT.TV. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, a leading equipment dealer since 1955. By Boilermaker Local 374, representing highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. By Wheeler Mission. For over 131 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community. It's brought to you by Bertner Electric, your trusted electrician partner since 1986. By Morales Group, in business to create a better future for you and your family. By Piper Logistics, your trusted logistics partner since 1994. It's brought to you by Aspen Creek Grill. Why go anywhere else? A large selection of food made from scratch and fairly priced. By Highway Safety Services, providing traffic control and pavement markings in Indiana for the past 60 years. And finally, by the IndianaSRN sports page. Follow the sports page every day with updates and news from coast to coast. Head to IndianaSRN.org. I'm Nathaniel Finch here with Chris Schumerth for a do-or-die game, right? The loser heads home, their season's over. The winner, a sliver of hope. If you can win this tournament, maybe you can make it into the Division III playoffs. So obviously, The stakes speak for themselves. How do teams play different when it matters the way it does today?
Well, just very small margin of error, and I would say this Rose-Hulman team has a lot better than a sliver of hope to win this thing. They've beaten the league leader, Anderson University, twice, so I would say they have as good of a shot as anybody.
Now, when you're looking at Mount St. Joseph, not the season that maybe they would hope for, below 500, whereas Rose-Hulman 16-9, like you said, a great season. But for Mount St. Joseph, all you got to do is get hot. You got to win a couple games, and all of a sudden you're dancing in the postseason. What is the mentality like when it's a team that maybe is inferior on paper, but that doesn't matter when you're playing a team for a third time?
Well, one of the things that I noticed on their stat sheet was that they guard the three-point line really well, and that helps in a game like this. If Rose-Hulman has a bad night, you can pull that upset. It didn't happen the last time these two teams played. Rose-Hulman shot 8 for 20 from three-point range. They only made 4 threes on their side. So they're going to have to guard the three well, and they're going to have to hit some threes.
We've alluded to it, but this is the third meeting between these two teams this calendar year, early in January, and then just a couple weeks ago. So the saying goes in any sport, it is hard to beat a team 3 times. How does that ring true today in a tournament setting?
Well, I think we're going to see probably in the first 30 seconds, first couple possessions on each end of the court. Both teams dug in, very aware of the stakes. The kind of thing where, suddenly if you're trailing in a game, if you're missing shots, pressure can build over the course of 40 minutes.
Caden Colford down there on the sideline camera, Brianna Finch up here as well, and our director Ben Wood. We've got more pregame action for you and tip-off coming in just a matter of minutes right here on RHIT.TV.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity, and that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your student to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
Nathaniel Finch and Chris Schumerth with you today, RHIT.TV. It's Rose-Hulman, the 16-9 Fighting Engineers, a 3 seed in the HCAC men's basketball tournament. It's the opening round. The winner will move on another host site next Friday. That's the higher seed of each matchup in the quarterfinals. And then we wrap this thing up a week from now. It should be a fantastic tournament. And again, the stakes, the winner of this tournament, not only you get the prestigious banner of a conference tournament champion, but yeah, you get the automatic bid into the regionals here in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, and if you're Rose-Hulman, I really like that they're led by a really experienced veteran in Miles McGowan. I think that helps in a conference tournament kind of setting with just an awareness that his career is almost over. He averages a double-double. He's gotten himself in the record book in a couple different ways this season and in seasons past. But yeah, he's going to be wanting to put everything on the floor to try to get this team through.
McGowan, the 6'6" senior forward, 1,000-point scorer at Mooresville High School, so just not too far down the road, and he's had a fantastic career, the 2-time all-conference selectee, and of course those all-conference teams should be coming out in the next matter of days. I think he's a lock to be a 3-time all-conference honoree, but he leads a team that has a fantastic freshman in Joey Schmitz from Center Grove High School. He has been incredible this year for Rose-Hulman, just a freshman.
Yeah, and he's already within striking distance of the HCAC three-point record. Again, that can change a game very quickly, the ability to make that kind of shot early and late.
And complimented by the guard who kind of runs the show. That's Kobe Studemeyer from Jeffersonville High School. He's a great player as a junior, over 12 points a game. These 3 players really perform well together, and they have for the last year.
Yeah, and I want to throw in another name. Daniel Savovich is a guy that will probably come off the bench, but I did have Rose-Hulman one time earlier in the season, and he really made a difference in that game, especially in the second half. So I won't be surprised if once he steps on the court, if he looks to assert himself.
We're going to tell you all about what Mount St. Joseph brings to the table. That's next on RHIT.TV.
Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. It all changed when I came to Rose-Hulman. I feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN. This means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Welcome back to Hobart Arena in Terre Haute, Indiana, home of the Fightin' Engineers. 16-9 on the season, 13-5, pretty impressive in conference play. That is Rose-Hulman, the 3 seed in this tournament, just a game behind Franklin for the 2 seed and a couple games behind Anderson. But to your point, Chris Schumerth, they beat Anderson, the top seed in this tournament, twice. So you got to feel absolutely confident if you are a Fightin' Engineer that you've got what it takes to make a run in this tournament and maybe into the NCAA postseason.
Yeah, and I was able to establish a little bit of contact with Toby Kerrigan, who's the head coach at Mount St. Joe. He's very aware of how disciplined this Rose-Hulman team is. He knows how difficult it is going to be to get this road win today, but he does get a lot of help from Luke Collinsworth, who does a lot of things on the floor. He's going to wear number 45. He averages 15 points a game. He's a 50% shooter from the field. He shoots 37% from three-point range and 7 rebounds a game. So he's really going to have one of his best games if his team's going to have success today.
We talked about the stars for Rose-Hulman who all played high-level high school basketball in the state of Indiana. Well, Mount St. Joseph from Cincinnati, but Collinsworth, an Indiana kid, East Central graduate from Lawrenceburg, and he's very similar to what we're going to see from Miles McGowan of Rose-Hulman. A tough presence on the inside, a big body, multiple-time all-conference honoree, and in the running for player of the year. So he's big, but how about the 2 freshman guards that really lead the Lions this year?
Yeah, this Mount St. Joe team is balanced, just like Rose-Hulman. No one in this game averages more than 15 points a game, but both teams have at least 5 players that are right around double digits.
Michael Loftus, the freshman guard, out there with Elijah Jones. Going to be exciting to see what that guard pairing does. But, of course, for both these 2 teams, it's going to run into the paint. We'll see how Luke Collinsworth affects the game for Mount St. Joseph and Miles McGowan for the 3-seed Rose-Hulman Fightin' Engineers. It's tournament time. The winner moves on. The loser goes home, and their season comes to an end. Should be an exciting one for you today from Terre Haute. When we come back, we'll get you set. Starting lineups.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity, and that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your students to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
575 of them from 40 states and 19 countries, with a record-breaking number of applications. Did you forget about Rose's outstanding class of 2023 and how 99% of the graduates have landed a position in their dream fields, graduate school, or the military?
The renovations to Munch Hall are finally complete, so I'm sure he'll have plenty to eat at the updated Munch Cafe by the new Living Mall.
We just broke ground on a new residence hall that will be ready for fall 2025.
We celebrated a record-breaking homecoming with more than 2,000 alumni, students, and friends commemorating the 100th anniversary of the bonfire with our first ever drone show. We also welcomed 267 employers for our fall career fair. And perhaps the greatest gift of all, the Wall Street Journal named us to one of the top 20 best colleges in America, and U.S. News & World Report named us the #1 undergraduate engineering college. You can be a little old for a lot of things, but you're never too old or too far away for Rose-Hulman. 2023 was a year of adventurous journeys, of coming together, of growth. No matter how far away you roam this holiday season, you will never be truly alone as long as Rose is your home.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
We're back here at Rose-Hulman University in Terre Haute, Indiana. The HCAC tournament set to begin in just a couple of minutes. Let's get you the starting lineups. We'll start on your screen there with the Rose-Hulman Engineers. You just heard Simon Blair. He is a senior, one of two seniors in this lineup. He's a forward out there with Miles McGowan, so a very high-powered forward pairing, and they've got three great guards as well. Kobe Studemeyer, the junior from Jeffersonville High School. Joey Schmitz, a freshman guard from Bargersville, Indiana. That's Center Grove High School. And then Benny Smith rounds out the starting lineup for the Fighting Engineers. He is a 6'2" sophomore guard, another Indianapolis kid. He went to Cardinal Ritter and played well there as well. As for Mount St. Joseph, coached by Toby Kerrigan in his 14th season. Three freshmen in this lineup, but they all play well. Michael Loftus and Elijah Jones, both averaging over 10 points a game. Then you've got Joe Brand, the third freshman guard on this squad from Dayton, Ohio. Jason Lavender is a fourth guard. Luke Collinsworth manning the five, a transfer from the University of Cincinnati where he played football. He's a guard, or a left tackle that was. And you see him there wearing the dark number 45, ready to jump, and we're ready to get this one underway. The winner moves on, the loser goes home. And for the start, it'll be Mount St. Joseph to begin on offense.
Neither of them got it the first time. The second tip did the job.
The Lions below 500, although a win would change that. They're 12-13 on the year. The 2.5-hour drive from Cincinnati, Ohio, the 6th seed in this conference tournament. And here's a name you're going to hear quite a bit. It's Luke Collinsworth. But McGowan gets the best of him on defense. That's who has the ball right now at the top of the key.
Watching those two is going to be fascinating. I have a feeling it's going to have a big part of determining the outcome of this game. Some tight defense, and we've got a jump ball right off the bat. It will stay in possession of the Fighting Engineers. But some active hands there from this Lions defense. Yeah, that was Lavender who got right in there and tied it up.
We talked about the young lineup here from Mount St. Joseph. Really gives you a lot of hope for the future, but they all play hard as well. Here's our first shot. And that one is buried from the Fighting Engineers.
It's Benny Smith.
Did not take long for him to connect. He's been a great three-point shooter this year. Both these teams have played twice in the last month plus, including just a couple of weeks ago. Both of them 12-point Rose-Hulman wins. Here comes Collinsworth, and it's sent back.
And that was Benny Smith again, came over with the help. I think we're going to get a look at Smith from three. Gets a little bit of a screen there from McGowan.
Pure.
And then on the other end, it's Smith who comes over and gets the block shot.
Last time these two teams played, Smith, he hit 3 of those. He's already on his way with a nice one early on.
Talked about this a little bit on the car ride, but both teams were launching threes the last time these two teams played.
Joey Schmitz missed the layup. It was tightly contested. But a great play by the Center Grove product, the freshman. We'll talk plenty about what he brings to this team throughout. Here's another look at Collinsworth on the inside. You see the body of a tackle, a Division I player for a couple of years at Cincinnati before transferring to play basketball. And boy, has he played well. The HCAC Newcomer of the Year. He's got a laundry list of awards since joining the Lions. Another great defensive play. That one from McGowan, he's been sharp. And Blair out there as well, but another turnover. And another turnover. Here we go. These guys aren't slowing down anytime soon.
You can feel the energy building this gym already.
Studemeyer, his first shot. It's from range, but it's short. Rebound goes to Lavender. And Lavender just a sophomore, so 3 freshmen, including the one who just took the shot, and will be sent to the free throw line. Our first foul shot today, Elijah Jones, a 69% free throw shooter. These ones brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, a leading equipment dealer serving farmers, homeowners, landscapers, and commercial contractors throughout Indiana. Nothing runs like a Deere. Give them a call today, 317-849-0810.
Smith felt like Jones flopped a little bit, and who knows, maybe he did, but I actually like the call there.
I agree.
He's got to be able to come down his own space, and he definitely got clipped.
Well, foul shooting was a big key to the last matchup in that 12-point win by Rose-Hulman a couple of weeks ago. Rose-Hulman only missed 1 free throw the whole game, whereas Mount St. Joseph left half of them out there. So certainly a good start for Jones, hitting a couple of these, because that can really bite you late in games. How about the size of Blair? 6'5" forward. Miles McGowan playing the 5 at 6'6". They've got the size to compete with anybody in this conference. And here is both bigs getting in on it, but the missed shot. Shot clock expired, so we saw Smith had to chuck one up, and it will be Mount St. Joseph basketball.
It was a nice job by Collinsworth of staying on the floor, not falling for that fake from McGowan.
When you look at the points per game metrics, these two at the bottom of the HCAC. We've kind of seen that a slow start, but they have 2 of the best defenses in the conference. How about the move from Michael Loftus? It's really an odd mixture of low-scoring offense, but very good defense from both these squads.
Rose-Hulman in particular typically owns the rebounding margin, so that's a stat line that we might keep track of today too.
Out-rebounded the Lions by 11 2 weeks ago. Here's the missed shot from Loftus. Rose-Hulman trying to retake the lead. He certainly won't have a wire-to-wire victory. What a start here from Terre Haute. There's another triple, and my goodness, Smith plus the harm. Already 2 of those. He owns all of the Engineers scoring. Take a look at this. Hits the shot, takes the contact. Give him another chance. And the old-fashioned 4-point play. Everybody's heard of it.
Joe Brand just helping way too much off him on that play.
Leaves that one out there, and we see a foul. Looks like McGowan just a little too strong, trying to pull down the board. They'll call it against Blair, actually. We've hit the under 16. When we come back, some more action for you from Rose-Hulman University on RHIT.TV. Tightly contested the first 4 minutes from Rose-Hulman University. Today's game brought to you by Morales Group Staffing, in business to create a better future for you, for your family, and for the community we all share. They can match you with the right career or hire the right candidate for your company. Call today, 317 472-7600. That is Morales Group Staffing. Well, Chris Schumer, a tightly contested first few minutes. We can tell with all the stakes on the line, these guys playing their heart outs.
Well, and Benny Smith in particular on both ends of the floor has been involved in some scoring, block shot. He did have a foul on a three-point shot. But, yeah, he's fired up out there.
And he owns all 6 of the Engineers' points. There's an answer from Jason Lavender.
And we talked about how, Mount St. Joseph's might be able to compete in this game and stay in it. 7-6 early in this game. I think they'll take that trade.
The Engineers on paper, a lot more wins, higher seed, certainly the better team. Oh, and my goodness, it's Smith again. He's got 3 of those. Or they said his foot was on the line. Still an impressive shot. Boy, he can't miss.
Daniel Sapovich, who I mentioned before the game, he's stepped onto the floor for the first time. Interesting to watch Collinsworth work in this game.
That should be it. Okay, they said he tipped it. And a foul. The crowd wanted to travel because Michael Loftus jumped up and then his feet hit the ground, but they say the ball was tipped. So drove in, sent to the line. Here we go. Sorry to cut you off there, partner.
Forgiven. Something was happening.
The crowd starting to get into it at Holbert Arena.
Yeah, that student section,
that's pretty impressive.
They came in right at the last minute.
I wonder what they were doing pregame.
We did see some
studying, maybe
some tailgaters out in the parking lot when we were driving in.
So Michael Loftus retakes the lead for the Lions, and here comes Studemeyer, running the point for the Fightin' Engineers. A little mishap off the hand of McGowan. Here's another chance for Loftus and the Lions. A 3-ball from the big man, and it's pure. Luke Collinsworth. He does that almost 40%. He's pretty impressive.
The sense that McGowan's pretty uncomfortable with his size. He's not used to being pushed around.
Again, Collinsworth 6'7", but his weight, he's just got a different, he's an offensive tackle. A Division I offensive tackle that transferred to play basketball, and he knows how to use his size. The Lions looking to build on an early lead. How about the craftiness on the inside? It's a miss, though. That board goes to Cole Pride, who comes off the bench. The second big man for this squad. A steal, yes. And now off and running again. It's been a series of turnovers for Rose-Hulman. They'll bring Joey Schmitz back on to try to calm things down. Big man, Collinsworth, gets it snatched away. How about the defensive play from Pride off the bench? The only player on the roster taller than Collinsworth.
Continue to watch, though. Collinsworth work. He gets the ball there just inside the three-point line, immediately turns his back to the basket and starts working his way in.
Jack Jenigas comes in for the first time. Schmitz to return. And that sends Benny Smith to the bench, who's been on fire. All 8 of Rose-Hulman's points. They'll need to find a way to score without him now, as he gets a bit of a breather from Coach Nick Sales. This is Jenigas.
Oh.
Earns it the hard way. He gets on the board immediately.
He moved Collinsworth a little bit before he threw up that nifty little left hand.
He went the hard way, too. That was impressive. And a great answer to the run that Mount St. Joseph just went on. Here's Collinsworth. Man, how about defensively the answer for Collinsworth so far? My goodness, Jack Jenigas. And now in transition. Let's see what Pride can do again. Working on a smaller Lavender. And that's Collinsworth with the board.
Got two big men substitutes in there right now for Rose-Hulman, but they've been holding their own against Collinsworth.
Certainly a smaller lineup for Mount St. Joseph aside from that center. The contested rebound goes out of bounds off of a Lion. It's Rose-Hulman basketball when we return on RHIT.TV.
Anxious over algebra? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org. Confused by chemistry? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at AskRose.org.
Back here in Terre Haute, Indiana, Nathaniel Finch with Chris Schumerth. And I'll tell you what, coming into this game, the underdog, Mount St. Joseph, wouldn't have picked them to have a lead after 8 minutes of play.
Yeah, they're just they're really flying to the ball defensively. Rose-Hulman, other than Benny Smith, haven't been able to do much on the offensive end. And, you know, this is what we were talking about before the game. It's one loss and done. That brings with it a different fire, a different intensity. And you're seeing that in both directions, but especially for Mount St. Joseph right now.
This game brought to you by Boilermaker Local 374, representing highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. When you need a safe, dependable workforce for a new build, an upgrade, or facility maintenance, you can count on Boilermakers Union Local 374 to do your job right the first time. Nathaniel Finch with Chris Schumerth. Our crew, Caden and Brianna on camera, Ben Wood, our director. What's been a fun start to this one. Always fun when the stakes are as high as they are. The first round of the HCHC men's basketball tournament.
McGowan still getting a rest for Rose-Hulman.
So is Collinsworth. It's a big stretch and a big three.
That's Savovich. Can do a lot of different things off the bench.
He's a top 10 three-point shooter in the conference, and he comes almost primarily off the bench. Pretty impressive. You can tell his efficiency through the roof. And he gives the Engineers the lead.
He's from Washington, the state of Washington. I always wonder, you know, a school like Rose-Hulman, they probably have some academic draw, people interested in the kinds of programs that are here.
One of the top engineering schools in the entire country. Well, you don't think Coach Sales is making flights out to Washington for recruiting trips?
He might have found him in an AAU tournament somewhere.
Rose-Hulman on offense, fresh off taking the lead after the break. A chance to extend it, it's a miss. Kobe Studemeyer. The rebound and run from Lavender.
Doesn't go down, but again, that play was made by Savovich. Got a pretty good look for his teammate, just didn't go in.
Critical stretch here for Rose-Hulman because Luke Collinsworth, the bully in the middle, he's sitting on the bench. You got to take advantage. A much, much smaller lineup with Braden Miller in. And here he is, Miller with the sky hook. Rebound for Schmitz. He's off and running with numbers. The transition triple. Savovich has two of those. How about the three-point shooting today for the Engineers through the roof?
Both teams shooting it at a good clip from three-point range, 4 for 7 for Rose-Hulman.
They both shot the ball very well from range last time they met. This one doesn't even get near the rim.
Get a replay here of Savovich from 3.
In transition, too. That's impressive.
And then the next one gets a little help from a screen. Nice movement off the ball.
How big is an asset like that when you can come off the bench and immediately provide a spark? And he just took the lead and now extended it for Rose-Hulman.
There's a reason the Sixth Man Award is the thing in the NBA.
He does have 18 starts this year, but of late, he's been taking a role off the bench and clearly playing well with it. The inside move, needing some help. How about the defense here, the Lions? It's a missed shot from Schmitz.
And this is a nice little stretch from Rose-Hulman. It's what they needed in this game.
This is Jason Lavender, the big man back into the game. Luke Collinsworth been key so far. It's been the straw that stirs the drink.
This Mount St. Joseph's offense, they're playing pretty much 5 out. So all the movement is on the perimeter, and then you look to penetrate from there.
The Engineers with numbers. What a play defensively by Savovich. He's doing it all. I don't know what Nick Sales said that last time out, but boy, it's worked. This is a different team, and here's the three. It rolls around from Pride. Toby Kerrigan running onto the floor, trying to bark out some orders. He doesn't like what he sees. Lavender working on a much bigger Pride, and he wins.
Duck that shoulder, get a little space.
Yeah.
Throw up a little leaner.
The 6'3" Lavender from just outside of Cincinnati. Of course, that's the location of Mount St. Joseph. Another one. Can he do it again? Oh, he is human. We've confirmed Daniel Savovich is a human being. He missed. Was starting to wonder for a bit. Another great defensive play. These are two of the best defenses in the conference. The poor miss from Brand. This game brought to you by Dynamark. Looking to elevate your brand? Choose Dynamark, your local one-stop shop for all your print, signs, promo products, apparel, and mailing services. Serving Indianapolis for over 50 years. Dynamark, where strong relationships are built through exceptional service. Call today, 317-328-2555, RHIT.TV. Nathaniel Finch with Chris Schumerth. And been an exciting game to this point. Another media timeout where it's a 2-point game. It's been fun.
Yeah, and I think it's only, especially if it stays close, the feeling in this gym was alive from the start, and it should only build.
Broadcast brought to you by Piper Logistics. For more than 2 decades, the seasoned professionals at Piper Logistics have consistently been the trusted allies for all your inventory management, warehouse fulfillment, and transportation needs. They stand as your comprehensive logistics partner. Ride with them. Call today, 317-396-1023. What's the message here for Toby Kerrigan as Mount St. Joseph looks to get back in this game after allowing a bit of a run for Rose-Hulman?
Well, one thing you got to do is you got to get out on Savovich in three-point land, and the same is true for Smith once he comes back out in the game. They've both shown early in this game that they're potent from the outside, and that might mean helping down low less than they've been doing, because some of those three-point looks are coming from, just little creeps toward the ball in the post, and then you're giving up the outside three. You might have to concede a little bit more post play.
And it's Smith, Benny Smith, the Cardinal Ritter product, to replace Savovich in the starting lineup the last 5 games, but obviously they're both interchangeable, shooting absolutely lights out. Here's a three. That one was much needed from Mount St. Joseph, but the board instead by McGowan.
Yeah, I won't be surprised to see the two of them on the court at the same time at some point in this game.
Miss from Blair. He gets his own board. And here's Savovich. Has it poked away, but a foul first. Caden and Brianna on camera. Ben, our director. It's Chris Schumerth to my right. I'm Nathaniel Finch. As we see the foul assessed to Michael Loftus and a couple foul shots for Daniel Savovich. Gonna hit those 2 big threes right off the bench. And he extends the lead with that one. This broadcast is brought to you by Highway Safety Services. You do what you do. We'll keep you safe doing it. Contact Highway Safety Services at 765-446-1502. Savovich to the bench. The aforementioned Benny Smith will come in and replace him. Also into the game for the first time today, and on defense right there is B.J. Wesley. Big-time recruit from IMG Academy, a state champion last year. Poked down to bounds. It was a nice attempt from Lavender to clean up after himself, but he can't quite get a hang on it.
Great job by McGowan there to just hold his space and make it very difficult for Collinsworth. I think that was a shot, not a pass, and it was nowhere close.
Here's Schmitz, gives it up. Benny Smith back into the game again. He hit those 2 quick threes to get the spark started. The first 6 points. In fact, the first 8 points for the Engineers at the time. Here comes McGowan. He hasn't done this a lot. Another 3. This one's offline. McGowan, really both of these bigs and Collinsworth, they've just been eating each other alive on the inside. Haven't seen a ton of production from either yet.
Yeah, you know who else we haven't seen a lot of production from is Schmitz for Rose-Hulman, and I think a lot of that credit has to go to some of these defenders for Mount St. Joe. Right now it's Elijah Jones who's on Schmitz.
Both of these teams, bottom 2 offenses, but top handful of defenses in the conference. Nice look on the inside, but it rolls out. Boy, life is just tough for Miles McGowan right now.
Yeah, those two are pretty much canceling each other out.
Collinsworth, who can't hit the 3, had one from that spot earlier. His only scoring, the big man.
And that is a difference between his game and McGowan's game, is he's much more comfortable with his face to the basket.
McGowan hasn't taken a single 3-point shot this year. Gets foul there against Lavender.
Kerrigan was not happy with Brand there. One of the things I noticed about both these coaches is just how deep their roots are in the HCAC conference. Both of them played in this conference. Kerrigan played at Hanover, and Sales played at Defiance.
Yeah, and then Kerrigan, an 8-year assistant at Transylvania. Used to coach the South Dearborn in Indiana. So to your point, both of these guys, a lot of roots in this conference. Sales spent 9 years as the associate head coach in Division III Marietta. That's over in Ohio. The abbreviated shot clock for the Lions. Down a couple buckets. This is Loftus, who's been quiet. Lavender working on the much bigger Blair. He gets it poked away twice. How about the defensive effort from Simon Blair? Last game he fouled out in just a handful of minutes. This time he is making his presence felt. But McGowan again can't get anything going on the inside. A running layup, beautiful from Elijah Jones.
He had a guy in front of him and a guy behind him, and he somehow found some space in the middle of the 2 defenders. Even though Schmitz hasn't scored much in this ballgame, he's doing a nice job of not forcing it. Trusting his teammates to do their jobs.
Well, he's one of the top 3-point shooters in the conference. We'll give you more on that later, but typically when all you do is shoot threes, you can force them even if you're not getting good looks. So to your point, credit to Schmitz. We got the miss there from Smith. A lot of fight from both these two teams early. The loser goes home, the opening round of the HCAC tournament. This is a big-time stretch, the final 4 minutes before halftime. Get a foul here on the defense. So far, fouls haven't been too big of an issue. Not worried about the bonus yet.
And it hasn't been because it hasn't been physical.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it. There was a study on the physicality of basketball that just got published, and the conclusion was basically that basketball is a contact sport. And we've seen that in the first 15 minutes of this game.
That's what they came up with? Shoot, I might have to try my hand in some of these studies. See if I can get some extra money. Basketball is physical. You see a great play on defense from Smith. Can the Engineers turn it into offense? He'll try to do so himself. Final handful of minutes before we hit the halftime break. Here's Pride. Gets it nearly poked away. Smith with 10 seconds. He pulls up and hits from downtown. Benny Smith can't miss. It's his third triple of the game.
They did make a disclaimer about the shooting guards and the small forwards. They experienced the least amount of contact.
The right-handed layup is unsuccessful for Michael Loftus. And here's the first stoppage. It's a foul on the Lions. A little too tight defensively. The final 3 minutes after this on RHIT.TV.
So my goal is to get involved in space industry and learn about what lies beyond the Earth's horizon. I came across Rose Rocketry. I saw, hey, they're doing some really cool stuff. They're building rockets. Being at Rose, I was able to hone my engineering skills to push myself to get involved in the field further and learn about all these different opportunities. And I don't think I would have really gotten that at a bigger university.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt?
Insulting referees.
Threatening officials.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes.
Violent language in the stands.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot. It's not a game.
Well, over the last 2 weeks, Benny Smith has absolutely torn up the Lions. Now 6 3-pointers. This is the 6th in his now game and a half against Mount St. Joseph. That one a big one. Put Rose-Hulman up by a good chunk here with just 3 minutes to go in the opening half. And really after the Lions punched Rose-Hulman in the mouth, it's been a great response from the Fighting Engineers of late.
Yeah, defensively, they're really getting the job done. Mount St. Joseph's haven't been able to score for the last several minutes of this basketball game, with the exception of that one driving layup.
A 7-point advantage for the home team. Of course, it's technically a neutral tournament game. Here's a nice look, the feed inside. It is Jack Jenigas.
Little two-man game there.
Beautiful offensive basketball against a low-scoring one. 2 great defenses. How about this? Look to have a lane. The defense double teams quickly, and here's the board for Benny Smith. With numbers, he's going to try to capitalize.
Now you do see Smith and Savovich on the floor at the same time. But that last defensive possession for Rose-Hulman is a great example of why they've had so much success in the last several minutes of this game. Several opportunities where they needed some help, and the help came.
Both these teams coming off wins. In fact, Rose-Hulman 3 straight wins. Getting hot at the right time. Nice turnaround shot by the guard, but it rattles out. And Studemeyer just hasn't found his shot quite yet. When he gets going, he can get hot, but he hasn't yet.
And they don't really need him to.
Another example of the tree on the inside, but it leads to a three from Collinsworth. Great interior defense, but it's hard to stop the 5 when he can hit threes. That's his second today. He can do it all. Nice pass. Can it lead to a triple?
So can he.
Benny Smith.
Great
That's his
answer.
4th. My goodness. He can't be stopped. He averages 5 points a game. He now has 4 triples. Benny Smith from Cardinal Ritter High School is making his stamp on this game.
And you can see why he's played himself into the starting lineup. Probably just getting to the point in his own development in the program where you're starting to trust him.
Savovich, the other lights-out shooter with the dish. Another one from the same spot. Benny Smith averages 5 points. He's got 5 threes.
That's a good example. So Elisha Jones comes over to help on the Savovich drive, which I understand Savovich can score too. But given Smith's start in this game, there's no reason you should be leaving him right there.
My goodness, Benny Smith, the sophomore, has been incredible. And he leads the game with 19 points. Leads the game by far.
Here's
How
that
about this?
first three. Great pass from Stoudemire. No look into the corner.
Smith only has 3 double-figure scoring games all season. You gotta be kidding me. He can't miss today. He looks like a seasoned three-point shooter.
6 for 8 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3.
Goodness.
14 points.
He's hit a couple free throws too. He's done everything.
Check that number, 19 points, not 14. My math isn't good. He's also been to the free throw line.
Well, the Engineers have blown it open. This is a huge stretch of basketball. The next couple possessions for Mount St. Joseph, and then the next few minutes coming out of halftime for the Lions if they want to stay in this game.
This is a big possession for them. If I'm Mount St. Joseph's right here, I'm going to use every second of that shot clock, and then they gotta score here.
It's a 3-second difference between the two clocks. Down by 12 on the road. The opening round of the HCAC tournament. The lower seed, Mount St. Joseph Lions on offense. Here's the runner. It's in at the buzzer. That is exactly what Mount St. Joseph needed. Oh, but they're going to stop it here. What do we have here? Loftus is listening closely. You could hear a pen drop.
Here's that last play. Good drive from
Certainly
Loftus.
got it off before the buzzer, by far.
Oh yeah, I guess he just wanted to see.
An intense finish to the half. We'll wait and see after the replay here. But as it stands, it is a 10-point advantage for Rose-Hulman after 20 at home, the opening round of the HCAC tournament. And what started as a back-and-forth game, Rose-Hulman's hit the 3-ball extremely well, and that's a big difference maker right now. 7 triples, and 5 of them have come from Benny Smith. You got to wonder if this shooting can continue for Rose-Hulman, at least from the outside. When you make half your threes, you wonder if water's going to find its level or if they're going to keep shooting lights out after the break.
Well, they may make some adjustments at halftime that opens up the inside play too. So if they come out determined to guard the three-point line, then what you may see is just, dump it down to McGowan. So I think what they might have been looking at is maybe that clock was supposed to stop once it goes through. Less so, I don't think they were trying to determine whether it beat the clock, the shot.
So they add half a second, and that's how we're going to run this one out. Savovich just took a chuck at our camera operator, Caden Colford, down there. And that's how the half will end. After 20 minutes, it is a 10-point lead for the hosting 3-seeded Rose-Hulman Engineers on RHIT.TV.
here for Mount Vernon. Hurdle looking right, now over the middle, fires, and it's in there for a touchdown. What a throw. Boy, what a stick, huh? Side out, back to the middle, and guess what? You want a point on the other side, you go to Taylor Lewis.
Here's Freeman. Has an opening shot. Score!
Stafford around a screen. Skip pass. Mays with 3. Mays drive. Floater up and in at the horn.
Hand off, and nice hole over the near side. 40, 35, 30. Block to the outside. 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdown. And that's a big one right there. And finally, somebody gets on the board.
Rose Rocketry was founded to put Rose-Hulman on the map for places to go if you're interested in aerospace. Rocketry is a club and a team for anyone interested in any aspect of hobby rocketry, aerospace as a career, or space in general. Rose Rocketry has several different pillars that we try to pursue for all of our members, one of them being the NASA USLI competition. The NASA University Student Launch Initiative is for college students and universities to get experience with high-power rocketry, get experience in creating proposals for NASA. They put us through the same rigorous process as they would all of their contractors. We write proposals, critical design reviews, we write flight readiness reviews, and then we can go and present all of our learnings to the NASA board and they can ask us questions. And having that kind of hands-on experience where you can point to it and say, hey, I want to work at your company. This is what I've done to show that I'm valuable to your company. I've built rockets before. I've written proposals for NASA before. Another part of Rose Rocketry is the research aspect. Because Rose Rocketry's goal is to help students pursue aerospace as a career, we want to try to encourage people in whatever field, in whatever subset of rocketry they are interested in. For example, we have a bunch of students working on what's called Rose Propulsion Laboratory, and we are able to provide them funding, even mentorship. Another aspect would be electric ion propulsion. We have a couple students who are really interested in in-space propulsion specifically. And then there's also SmallSat. Rose SmallSat has the goal of launching a nanosatellite, which is around this big, into orbit within the next 3 to 5 years. And this is a really ambitious project, and it wouldn't be possible without the support of Rose Rocketry. My favorite thing about Rose Rocketry is how open we are. A lot of our people that are the most active are freshmen. And that's fantastic because now these people are learning hands-on engineering skills before they even learn what engineering is.
It's sort of given me a preview of all the engineering that is to come, and it's sort of put me on the fast track of learning mechanical engineering. Failure modes, effects, and analysis. That's not something you really learn as a freshman in your academics, but learning it in Rose Rocketry means I can apply those concepts to my current classes, which really helps me excel academically and prepares me for future classes. One of the goals I have after graduation is to be part of the aerospace industry. Rose Rocketry has helped me prepare for that goal in learning the design process of the aerospace industry and learning the documentation requirements. And it's also given me the opportunity to step into a lot of design areas and a lot of manufacturing areas that I haven't been exposed to before. And I think Rose Rocketry provides that really collaborative and friendly atmosphere. We really learn to work with each other, especially across multiple majors. What's special about Rose is the ability to really get involved. If you have that initiative, you can pursue it. And I think that's exemplified by how joining this team as a freshman, I was able to be elected the vice president. I was able to make a real difference on the team. That experience is something that you really may not find at other universities.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We consider it a privilege to have you as one of our listeners and viewers. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
The The Fightin' Engineers earning that nickname here from Rose-Hulman University. It's the opening game of the HCAC men's basketball tournament. A 10-point lead for the home team over the Mount St. Joseph Lions. The winner moves on next Friday to play either number 2 seed Franklin or 7 seed Berea. Here's how we got to this 10-point advantage for Rose-Hulman. His name is Benny Smith. That's all you need to know. He has 19 points. He's hit 5 triples, and he has been magnificent. Oh, and off the bench, how about Daniel Savovich for Rose-Hulman? He's also hit a couple of those 3-pointers. He has 8 points. And Jack Jenigas off the bench has 4. No other starters aside from that have got through the score sheet. So as far as Rose-Hulman, they're really riding the hot hands of Benny Smith and Daniel Savovich right now.
Yeah, and they really dug in defensively as well. I believe it was just over 8 minutes into the game. We were talking about how well Mount St. Joseph's was fighting and competing. They had a slight lead at that point in the game. They didn't score much since that point. They've only got 4 guys in the scoring column. No one has more than 6 points. Something else that I notice on this stat sheet that'd be easy to miss is Joey Schmitz, though he has not yet scored in this game, and of course he's a lethal 3-point shooter, he's plus 13 while he's on the floor. That tells you what kind of impact he has. And sometimes it's easy to miss in a basketball game when one particular player is just getting so much defensive attention, and it's opening up looks for guys like Smith and Savovich.
And you know what? I would not be surprised if Schmitz goes out and hits a couple threes in the second half like he is so prone to do. Mount St. Joseph will have to find an answer for Smith and Savovich, and I would not be surprised if the freshman from Center Grove can be a benefactor of that. I will say one thing, when we hit the under 12 timeout, you and I were talking about how well Mount St. Joseph has played, like you just alluded to. They had forced 5 early turnovers from Rose-Hulman. Well, the Engineers, they haven't turned the ball over once since then. So 5 in the opening couple minutes and then none since then. That's been a big spark here for Rose-Hulman. Let's take a look at some of the numbers for Mount St. Joseph. Leading the team in scoring, the duo of Luke Collinsworth, the center who has all of his points from beyond the arc. Pretty impressive that he's been able to supplement his struggles from the inside with some pretty good shooting from the outside. And then Michael Loftus has hit a few buckets as well. He has 6 points. After that, Jason Lavender with 5, and the other freshman guard, Elijah Jones, has 4 points. Nobody else has scored for Mount St. Joseph. When we come back, we're going to tell you what each team can improve on heading into half number 2. That's next, RHIT.TV.
So I started working on Babcock Ranch 16 years ago. We designed a sustainable community that is also storm resilient, and also it has a ton of flood control associated with it. It has 75 megawatt solar facilities on site, which will cover the entire 18,000 acre community. In September of 2022, we had Hurricane Ian. We had 150 miles an hour sustained winds for about 10 hours and 21 inches of rain. Babcock really had little to no damage at all. We were the only place in a 2-county area that had any electric or any available drinking water that did not need to be boiled. And Rose really prepares you to go out, think outside the box, and problem solve. And I think for any major at Rose-Hulman, that's what you're getting. You have the ability to go out and create something new and innovate and change the way that we live as humans today.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We consider it a privilege to have you as one of our listeners and viewers. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
31-21 your score after a half at the Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. The Fighting Engineers with the lead over the Mount St. Joseph Lions. It's winner takes all here, the opening round of the HCAC tournament. I'd like to remind you that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of RHIT.TV and the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference. Any reuse of this broadcast without the express written consent of RHITV.TV or the HCHC is strictly prohibited. We thank you for watching today's broadcast. Nathaniel Finch with Chris Schumerth, and it was a early punch from Mount St. Joseph. Rose-Hulman sustained the blows, sent some back of their own, and now they have a lead. What do you think that each team can do better here heading into half number 2?
Well, let's start with Mount St. Joseph's, and there's one thing that comes to mind on each end of the floor. Defensively, they know that Smith and Savovich and Schmitz can shoot that three. I would not be helping very much off of those players to go and try and dig, down low. Let Collinsworth do that work on an island. Don't lose this game because Savovich and Smith keep making threes. On the offensive end, I think that I want to see a little bit more of Collinsworth going inside. He's got that big body. It's great that he can make the three, but they've got to find a way to come up with some offense, and I think that's one way they might be able to do it. For Rose-Hulman, more of the same. Keep making the extra pass. They did a great job of that in the first half. And on defense, it doesn't look like they're giving up many open looks at all. They're helping well defensively, so just keep doing those things.
They have kept the star forward for Rose-Hulman, Miles McGowan, out of the score sheet. He's likely to be a 3-time HCAC All-Conference honoree, and he hasn't scored yet. So how about the defensive performance from Luke Collinsworth? And while he maybe hasn't had his best day offensively, he is certainly shutting down Miles McGowan on the defensive end.
Yeah, and again, that's why I say you can't live and die off of giving those guys three-point looks. I think where you maybe can live and die and see where the second half goes is say, hey, Luke Collinsworth, you're bigger than Miles McGowan. We're going to count on you to go head-to-head with them one-on-one in the post.
Collinsworth had 17 points against this same team a couple weeks ago. After a half of play, he has 6. When we come back, we get you set for half number 2 at Rose-Hulman, the opening round of the HCAC tournament, right here on RHIT.TV.
We're doing things so quickly. A lot of times we know that we need help. So our professors all know us by name.
Basically, everybody knows everybody here.
That one-on-one personal connection you're getting with the faculty, you don't get that a lot of places.
We're not just saying, here, go do this hard project. We are right there with them. We work with them.
The faculty are there for you.
The winner moves on. The loser sees their season come to an end. It is the opening round of the HCAC men's basketball tournament from Rose-Hulman in Terre Haute, Indiana. The Fighting Engineers, a 3 seed, up by 10 on the scoreboard after one half of play. Nathaniel Finch with Chris Schumerth. The visiting Mount St. Joseph Lions, the 6 seed, below 500 on the year, and after a hot start, they really cooled off, currently trailing by 10 at the break. But as we've talked about the entire broadcast, Chris, when the stakes of losing this game means your season and in some cases your career comes to an end, it turns up the effort here and intensity throughout the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was just counting. Looks like there are 4 seniors on this Mount St. Joseph team. Rose-Hulman is a little bit younger. I think they only have 2, which is certainly a good sign for the future of their program. And obviously there are more opportunities to extend your eligibility than ever before in college sports, it seems like. But, the loser of this game is going to result in the end of certain careers on the basketball court. And so, yeah, you want to leave today feeling like you gave everything you had.
Yeah, we'll certainly see some intense moments of basketball from both of these two teams. Again, the winner moves on to the quarterfinals. That takes place next Friday against either 2nd seed Franklin, who would be the host in that scenario, or if 7th seed Berea gets the win today, Then they would travel to either Rose-Hulman or Mount St. Joseph next Friday, the quarterfinals of this tournament. The winner of the entire tournament gets an automatic bid in the NCAA Division III tournament. So stakes could not be higher here from the Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology in Terre Haute. We're ready to get a fresh 20 minutes up on the scoreboard, getting this one underway. We'll see how the Lions can dig out of a 10-point hole, or will Rose-Hulman continue to put on a show for the home crowd?
And right away you see Collinsworth do a little bit more with his back to the basket to start this offensive possession.
The guard penetrates, and it rolls off the rim. Elijah Jones can't get it to go.
Can live with that look, even though it didn't go down.
We talk about how McGowan hasn't scored, but boy, he's been a factor defensively.
And, you know, easy to miss in that first half, too. Even when McGowan sat, they did a nice job on Collinsworth with a couple different guys coming into the game.
His only points came from beyond the arc. Here's a near steal, but it is picked back up by Studemeyer. He's only got 2 to shoot. Here's the straightaway 3, and it does everything but fall through. Two-and-a-half-hour drive from Cincinnati, Mount St. Joseph. Didn't make the tournament last year. They didn't qualify for this conference tournament, but they do so this year as a 6th seed after marked improvement from a year ago. Bodies on the floor. This could lead to an open triple. It does, but it's a miss. The offensive board, though, how about Luke Collinsworth? Here's another 3. It's another miss. And another offensive rebound. This time he puts it through. Michael Loftus. My goodness.
I don't think he officially gets that rebound. It'd be interesting to watch the stat sheet, but he certainly earned that rebound for his team.
And we talked about the intensity. I don't know if you're going to see that sequence of basketball in the regular season. Now all chips are on the table. Here's Smith, who, oh, by the way, hit 5 threes in the opening half. This time he's a little cool, just a couple minutes in. Oh, had a look at an open 3. Instead, it's poked away. Great defense. Can they turn that to offense? It is Schmitz, and he buries it right in front of the student section.
We talked about it. Shooters got to shoot, whether it's going down or not, whether they're getting a lot of looks or not. And eventually, Schmitz is going to find some open looks in this basketball game.
Scoreless in the first half, but he's one of the best three-point shooters in the conference for a reason. In fact, he set a record for the most three-pointers made in strictly conference play this year. An impressive rookie year for the Center Grove products. Freshman season, that is. He's been fantastic. And
there's that another look at that last play.
Just left
again,
unguarded.
Great job by Stoudemire to get deep into the lane and then just find the open shooter. Schmitz buries it.
And when you're in that position of Lavender, it's hard not to try to provide help to the lane, but you got to keep a better eye on your man. Here's Jones. Smothering defense all the way out at the three-point line for Rose-Hulman. And still scoreless inside the arc is Collinsworth. Leads the team in scoring and in most categories. He's been a stud this year, but quiet today. How about that move from Simon Blair using his size, and Rose-Hulman extends the lead to 13.
That was 6'5" on 6'3", and he was just calling for the ball, wanted it the whole way, got it really deep.
Lavender on the inside, and he gets harmed. To the line goes he. This broadcast brought to you by Officially Human. Their mission is to restore respect to game officials, recognizing them as authorities on the fields and courts. Do your part. Practice good sportsmanship. If we don't have officials, we cannot play. And the guy standing to my right has officiated some games. I'm sure you can echo that sentiment as much as anybody.
Absolutely. I actually had fun doing it, but certainly the game needs more officials, not less. And a lot of the people who make the most noise would never step onto that court with the stripes. So credit to all these guys. I look out and see at least one guy that I know who's been working at his craft for a long time.
How about that? Recognizing these officials. That's impressive. Couple minutes into the half, after 2 missed free throws, Here's a look. Can he get on the board? McGowan. Instead, he decides to dish. McGowan again. This time it falls. He enters the scorebook for the first time today.
And that was a great job by Collinsworth defensively. It was just a good move by McGowan and a really tough shot. It was probably a 10-foot little jump hook from the baseline.
The next loss will be McGowan's last. He's laying it all out there despite the quiet first half. You can tell he's trying to find ways to help the team. Here's another triple by the big man. Luke Collinsworth can't miss. And there's the timeout from Toby Kerrigan. We'll take one with them, RHIT.TV.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity. And that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your students to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
Rose-Hulman at home, the opening round of the HCAC tournament. Certainly trying to pull away, but the pesky Lions continue to fight. It is a 12-point game early here into the second half. And certainly to this point, Chris Schumer, we've had a back-and-forth battle here in half number 2.
Yeah, and you pointed out Mount St. Joseph calls the timeout after the three-pointer, and maybe they need to set something up defensively. Maybe they saw something on that last trip. Maybe Coach Kerrigan has a new idea. I have to think that they're talking about defense in this huddle.
The IndianaSRN sports page has wall-to-wall sports news every day. High school, college, pro sports, we have it all. Check it out, IndianaSRN.org, and click on the sports page tab. Stay informed with the IndianaSRN sports page. Nathaniel Finch, Chris Schumer, RHIT.TV. And here come the Engineers. After the made three by Luke Collinsworth, so he hasn't done much offensively in the paint, but he's hit 3 triples today as a 6'7", 200-and-something-pound big man. McGowan backs down the aforementioned Collinsworth. Here's Schmitz, a long 2. And that, if anything, was just meant to get a trip to the line for Joey Schmitz.
Loftus got a lot of arm once Schmitz elevated there. Good call.
RHIT.TV, Rose-Hulman with the lead. Currently up by 12, and we'll see some foul shots here to extend that. How do you combat the desperation that we're going to see from St. Joseph? What can Rose-Hulman do to continue that edge despite the double-figure lead?
Well, you asked 2 questions there. So we'll start with how do you come back, and it starts on the defensive end. You've got to get stops. You can't come back from double digits down without doing it on the defensive end. And in terms of keeping your edge, I think it's a pretty good place to be in. You definitely want to hit the gas pedal. There's still 15:29 left in this game. You don't want to get in cruise control. And it helps to have 2 or 3 shooters out on that court at all times for Rose-Hulman. So maybe you can get, we just saw McGowan score for the first time in this game. Maybe you can get a little more from him down low since the shooters have been so effective from the outside.
McGowan has 2 points and now 3 rebounds, and he has been invaluable on the defensive end of the floor. He leads the conference in rebounding. But boy, he draws a tall task, the man standing in between him and the camera there on the left side. And Luke Collinsworth, a former offensive tackle, a 3-star tackle at the University of Cincinnati, the big one.
And if you would have told Mount St. Joseph's that McGowan would have 2 points and 3 rebounds at the 15:29 mark of the second half, you would have had to be feeling pretty good. But here they are, and they're down 14 points.
free throws successful from Joey Schmitz. Boy, a 91% foul shooter. He is incredible. Here's Loftus hitting the double team and splitting it. Smothering defense again from the Engineers, and it's a turnover. Only the 7th one today from Mount St. Joseph. They've done a nice job limiting those.
Schmitz may have gotten away with a little bit of a shove there.
Studemeyer, the Jeffersonville product, will bring it up. We talked about it. Two of the less lethal offenses in the conference. Boy, don't say that to Benny Smith, though. He's over the 20-point mark. But these are two fantastic defenses.
We talked about McGowan. He actually made that play with the screen and the look to Smith.
The miss, and now a chance to extend the lead. Here come the Engineers. That one just barely off the mark.
Nicely contested there by Brand.
Inside move, what a turnaround, but he gets poked away. How about Simon Blair today? But it leads to the three, bounces awry. McGowan is fourth board.
I was just looking at Blair's rebounding numbers. He's got 4. He gets that blocked shot. Of course, he had the isolation post play a few moments ago against Lavender. He's off to a good start in the second half. He's also riled up.
That's the third foul for Elijah Jones. So now you got to start kind of monitoring him. Of course, 5 sends you out. Into the game comes Cole Pride. He had some great minutes, the Batesville product, earlier in this first half.
He did, particularly on the defensive end.
Schmitz, the freshman. Boy, freshmen on both ends of the floor for each of these teams playing exceptionally well this year in this game. And Schmitz is no exception. Here he pulls from 3, and he hits it.
That one extending well beyond the three-point line. And it's so tough to guard players who have that kind of confidence.
Poked away. McGowan dives for it with numbers. Here it is. It is Pride with the flush. And the timeout from Toby Kerrigan. My goodness, the crowd on their feet at Rose Holman in Terre Haute, Indiana. The big-time lead for the Engineers.
Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. It all changed when I came to Rose Holman. I feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex.
Hello and welcome to Game Day. My name is Keith Myers. I'm the Vice President of IndianaSRN. We're glad that you joined us today. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Joey Schmitz has been fantastic this year. Maybe the best three-point shooter in the HCAC. Here he fires from range. And his teammate, a fellow Indiana high school product, Schmitz went to Center Grove. Here is Cole Pride from Batesville with a beautiful flush.
And that play, as you pointed out live, really made defensively there by McGowan.
McGowan, the 1,000-point scorer at Mooresville. Indiana athletes up and down the floor for both of these squads.
Yeah, lots of Central Indiana out there.
So the lead balloons. We'll see if Mount St. Joseph can start to mount a comeback. Here's Loftus. Gets it poked away by Pride, who has been playing fantastic. Scored a career-high 29 points on Wednesday in the blowout over Earlham. And he's continued that momentum here on both sides of the floor. Here he is. Oh, man, he wanted another one. The free throw line, Jay Savovich waters the storm. Goodness, if he would have connected there.
Oh.
It's the opening round of the HCAC tournament, so the winner moves on next Friday as we get a foul here on Studemeyer. The winner will either travel to 2-seed Franklin or host number 7 seed Berea. Both these teams hoping for the latter, the 11 and 14 Berea team. And right now, Berea with the lead at Franklin, up by 7 halfway through the second half. So an upset potentially brewing over there.
And that
semifinals next Friday.
I noticed that is a team, Berea, that has beaten Anderson, and they've beaten Rose-Hulman. So, you know, their overall record isn't great, but they've shown the ability to beat some of the league leaders.
And again, in a tournament like this, all you need to do is win a handful of games, get hot at the right time, and who cares how the rest of the season has gone. Here's the big man. Collinsworth hits another one. That is his 4th triple today. He doesn't have a single shot from inside the arc that's successful. The lead still at 20 for the hosting Fightin' Engineers. Cole Pride tried to bring the roof down again, and we get a whistle.
It's great hustle by Schmitz. Try to track that rebound down. I think he got bumped.
The lead at 20 when we return on RHIT.TV. Make a difference. Here's how. Help us put more student athletes on TV by logging on to IndianaSRN.org and directing your donation to a specific school, or just hit the donate button. More games, more opportunities for kids. IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat. Chris Schumer, who's the make a difference player of the half so far?
Well, I would go with Joey Schmitz. He had a quiet first half, hit a couple threes in this one, and one of them was especially deep as Rose-Hulman's gone on this run.
The freshman from Center Grove, one of the top three-point shooters in the HCAC. Savovich misses. Down by 20 are the Lions. We'll see how they can dig back in this one. Nice spin around. That's the first 2-point basket for Luke Collinsworth, who's one of the best in the conference at doing that.
And that's exactly what I think Mount St. Joseph's needs to do a little bit more of.
Ball out of bounds. It will remain Rose-Hulman possession.
In saying that, I'm not saying he shouldn't be shooting the threes. Obviously, a three-point shooter, and that's been a big part of this game.
He's hit 3 of his 4 attempts.
They've got to have some stuff inside, and I don't know that they're going to get it from anyone other than him.
The 6'7" former offensive tackle at the University of Cincinnati, a graduate of East Central High School. And if my math checks out, I think he would have won maybe a state championship there in football. They did a couple of them a few years ago. The stop and pop, no good. Savovich has gone cold. Trying to go coast to coast. It's sent out of bounds by Cole Pride. Right down the road from Mr. Collinsworth. Pride went to Batesville High School.
Brand was lucky there that got tipped out of bounds. He definitely was looking in the wrong direction with that pass.
Needing some points in a hurry. Nearly halfway through the second half. And we get a foul. That'll go against Benny Smith. A 2.5 hour drive from Cincinnati, Mount St. Joseph made. A reminder, Pat Cherry is your independent agent representing Ohio Mutual Insurance. Call him today for coverage tomorrow. 317-894-7000. That's 7,000.
Some life there from senior Dale Bush from Mount St. Joe, who hasn't done much in this game. Have to wonder if that's the kind of substitute that's because you're a senior. We're gonna respect that. We're gonna let you finish on the floor. I don't know that.
The transfer from Clark State University puts up a shot, and that's Bush at the line. And already 5 quick fouls against Rose-Hulman. The bonus could become a bit of a factor here later in the game. But again, last time these teams played, Mount St. Joseph missed half their free throws when Rose-Hulman only missed 1. In fact, how about Kobe Studemeyer when these two teams played a couple weeks ago? He had 12 points. He was 12 for 12 from the foul line. So he missed every field goal, but he hit every single foul shot.
That's quite a stat line.
Yeah, he's 0 for 5 right now, so they've really found a way to bother Studemeyer on defense.
And again, I mean, his job is to run the offense. His job is distribute the basketball, and he's done that well today.
The junior from Jeffersonville High School.
Good program down there. Saw them play their team this season.
Now Smith could have shot. Instead, wants to get his teammate involved. Here comes McGowan going to work with the spin around. That's a miss. And out of bounds, it appears, on Simon Blair. That's a tight one.
And McGowan gives the shove signal. He thought he was bumped. But I think it's just Collinsworth's body. You know, even if it's not a foul, it's just a really strong presence.
We've split the second half. The final 10 minutes here, and needing some points in a hurry are the Lions. It's poked away. A power play for Rose-Hulman. And wow, it will remain Rose-Hulman possession. A lot of contact there. They didn't call it. It's like we talked about in the first half, Chris. These referees have allowed quite a bit of contact. Quick inbounds. 1 dribble, 1 bounce, and 2 points for Simon Blair.
Great look from B.J. Wesley.
Just his second bucket today. Now in transition, nice, plus the foul. The right-handed layup is successful, and that could be what Mount St. Joe's needed. That's Joe Brand. Brand on the board for the first time. This broadcast is brought to you by Aspen Creek Grill. Why go anywhere else for delicious food? If you're looking for amazing fresh food and servers that genuinely care about service, you've got to try Aspen Creek Grill. You won't be disappointed. 866-885-3249.
Interesting that with Wesley on the court, they're letting him handle the ball a little bit. Studemeyer go off the ball.
And maybe that's what Studemeyer needed to get in the scoring column, his first bucket today. He missed his first 5 shots, but not that time. Let someone else bring it up and let him become just a pure scorer. A cross-key pass. Certainly looking for some 3-point opportunities. And we get a foul, likely against McGowan.
I'm not going to say that wasn't a foul because the referee had a much better look at it than I did. But I will say that Collinsworth was bailed out a little bit because he was off balance, falling backwards when he got that call.
Here's a 1-and-1 opportunity. 17th foul for Rose-Hulman. So any common foul results in foul shots the rest of the way for Mount St. Joe's. Could be big if they want to make a comeback. First one successful. He just earned himself a second. That's Luke Collinsworth, who now has 15 points on the game. It's a season average. So he started slow, but he's found a way to get into the scoring column in a hurry.
He certainly influenced this game. He just hasn't had a lot of help on the offensive end.
The two-time and likely soon to be named three-time All-Conference honoree. And he hits them both. Still a 16-point lead for the home team. The quarterfinal round. And oh, look at this as Miles McGowan skies in and cleans up. Just his second bucket today.
You can see veteran maturity because McGowan has not statistically had the kind of night he usually has, but he's still very much into this game, and you see him working defensively against Collinsworth now.
Some tight defense, and that leads to the missed shot from Collinsworth. Here come the Engineers. And we get a foul to go against Collinsworth.
Watching these two battle is so fun.
Oh, it's been so much fun. Putting on a clinic offensively and defensively. So look at Nick Sales, the third-year head coach. He's been very successful with his program.
Certainly got him headed in the right direction. He's
got it's another three.
A lot of experience in the NCAA tournament, does Sales.
Danny Savovich drains it. His head coach led Division III Marietta to a Final Four a couple years ago. How about that answer? Mount St. Joseph,
at the time,
Alex Willett.
But he knows what it's like to be there.
Marietta, the Division III college, one state east of here. Again, an associate head coach for 9 years. And after he helped lead the team to the Final Four, got the job here as the head coach. Big man took the air out of the building for a moment. Here's another three-point attempt, and that one is successful. B.J. Wesley for three.
Something that jumps out from B.J. Wesley's background is that he went to IMG Academy. That's certainly a basketball institution in many ways.
Won a state championship there, as basically everybody does when you go to IMG. That's what they're known for. Here's a foul. It will send Collinsworth to the line.
There's some replay here. There's Savovich in the corner.
Big time shot there, right in front of the student section. We'll show you.
And
this
the next one
here.
The rebound from McGowan.
Wesley hasn't done a ton this year. Scoreless the last couple games he's played, but he buries that one. We'll return in a moment in RHIT.TV.
Anxious over algebra? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at askrose.org. Confused by chemistry? Call Ask Rose, the free science and math homework helpline. It's free world-class tutoring. Just call, chat, email, or screen share. Learn more at askrose.org.
Welcome back to Terre Haute, Indiana. Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. A big-time lead, just 7 minutes to go in the quarterfinal round of the HCAC men's basketball tournament. The winner moves on to play in the semifinal round next Friday. That's against either 2-seed Franklin or right here against 7-seed Berea. To give you an idea on how that game is going, Berea, a 66 to 58 point lead, the underdogs against the 2-seed on the road there with about 8 minutes to go in the game. We'll continue to give you updates on that, but I'm sure either team on the floor right now rooting for Berea because that means a home game for the winner of this one. Here's two shots for Luke Collinsworth. Broadcast brought to you by Wheeler Mission. For over 131 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the central Indiana community, providing help, hope, and healing to people in need. You can volunteer today, 317-686-6239. Knocks them both down. Collinsworth, a 70% free throw shooter on the year.
That's how Mount St. Joseph got the 6th seed, is by beating Berea earlier in the week.
had to come from behind and win that one in overtime. A 17-point second half comeback against Berea, and it was on the road too. Tight defense. Boy, they are making Miles McGowan work hard for every attempt. It looks like Collinsworth might have taken a pop, tending to an issue on his face. We'll continue here. 19 points the advantage for the home team. The stop and pop. Oh, that one looked pretty, but Studemeyer can't get it to fall. MSJ with it on offense. Down on the board. Here's Loftus against a much taller Savovich. Willett nearly loses it. His first appearance in the game a couple minutes ago. And they'll say it is a double dribble. He dropped it, picked it back up, and despite making the 19-footer, it won't count for Michael Loftus. Six to go. Winner to the quarterfinal, or rather semifinal round of the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference men's basketball tournament. Pretty shot there from Daniel Savovich.
And I like that Rose-Hulman is continuing to attack on the offensive end. Talked about wanting to press the gas pedal rather than the brake. There's certainly a point in the game where it's appropriate to take your time on those offensive possessions, but keep attacking.
Collinsworth now with 20 points. He's turned it on of late. That is his 8th 20-point performance of the year. Studemeyer will dribble and look for some help. With a full head of steam. Oh, a little too much steam there. Sends it too strong. Trying to take it coast to coast is Loftus. Here comes Bush with the right hand. He finishes. It's the first bucket today for Bush. First shot attempt. McGowan trying to use his size to create a three-point opportunity, and it's just off the mark for Savovich. 4.5 to go. Rose-Hulman looking to hang on here at home. Collinsworth, 20 points today, and that one doesn't hit the rim. A tough shot, great defense all game from Miles McGowan, the best player on this Fighting Engineers squad. Little mishap off the knee of Joey Schmitz. 4 minutes remain when we return from Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology.
So my goal is to get involved in space industry and learn about what lies beyond the Earth's horizon. I came across Rose Rocketry. I saw, hey, they're doing some really cool stuff. They're building rockets. Being at Rose, I was able to hone my engineering skills to push myself to get involved in the field further and learn about all these different opportunities. And I don't think I would have really gotten that at a bigger university.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, insulting referees,
threatening officials,
berating young umpires, learning the ropes,
violent language in the stands,
screaming at a referee in the parking lot. It's not a game.
Welcome back to Terre Haute, Indiana. Rose-Hulman, the 3 seed. It's the quarterfinal round of the HCAC men's basketball tournament. And the hosting Fighting Engineers with a big-time lead. Here's a big reason why. Chris Schumerth, they have protected the ball exceptionally well.
Yeah, we mentioned under 12 minutes in the first half. They were at 5 turnovers. They're now at 6. That's 16 minutes of second half basketball, plus several minutes from the first half with 1 turnover. They've got an assist to turnover ratio of 18-6. They're also getting a strong contribution from the bench. 24 points off the bench, only 6 from Mount St. Joseph's.
And they've led the majority of this game. We had 6 early lead changes, and really when they stopped turning the ball over is when the Engineers started to take this lead and continue to expand on it. Since that under 12 timeout, like you said, that's 28 minutes with just 1 turnover, but they've built a big-time lead. It's ballooned all the way up to 23 points. At 1 point here in this second half. Currently sits at 17, but a chance to increase that here. From the corner, it's Studemeyer. Yes!
Make it 19 assists. That one from Schmitz with the penetration and the dish.
When you have 19 assists and only 6 turnovers, that typically results in a good brand of basketball. And take a look at this from Kobe Studemeyer, the Jeffersonville High School product. He's a junior, and boy, he is talented. Took him a while to get on the scoreboard, but he's played well of late. This afternoon's contest brought to you by Highway Safety Services. You do what you do, we'll keep you safe doing it. Contact them, 765-446-1502. Three minutes until the Morales Group post-game show. We will name the Piper Logistics Player of the Game. Plenty of contestants for that name. With a 19-point advantage, Rose Holman on offense. It's Studemeyer again, but it bounces awry. In transition, here comes the backup forward, Braden Miller. Look at this, all alone with the fingertip rolls.
I think he hurt himself.
Simon Blair.
He tweaked something, or at least he's pretending to.
Not a bad idea. The crowd thought that the 6'5" freak athlete was going to dunk it in. Oh, how about this one? Plenty of defense.
Rightly called a foul there, but one of the things you just see from this Rose Holman team, you know, they're up 21 points with 2 minutes to go, and they're just fighting and competing. It really speaks to the culture of this program that Nick Sales is building here. I think they won, how many games did they win
last year?
Yeah, okay, and then 16 this year, going to be 17. Definitely going in the right direction, and a lot of that has to do with, like I said, that investment, that energy that they're playing with.
And his team will likely move on to the semifinal round of this basketball tournament. That means a game next Friday. It could be in this building at Holbert Arena. That's because Berea currently leads the 7-seed Berea with an advantage over the 2-seed Franklin. Now it's a lot closer than what it was. There's a 10-point Berea advantage at halftime. They led by about 7 a couple minutes ago. Now with 4 minutes left, the lead just at 5 on the road at Franklin College. So we'll continue to monitor that score. Again, if Franklin wins, the game is at Franklin. If it's a Berea advantage, then they come here next Friday night. And of course, the championship and the right to the automatic bid in the NCAA tournament. That will be found out next Saturday.
Player didn't like the call. He wants to know what he did. I'll tell him what he did. He was using that offhand to gain an advantage. That's a pretty easy call by the official, though it doesn't always get called because it doesn't look malicious, but you're definitely gaining an advantage by what he did.
That's Chris Schumerth, the official, part-time color analyst.
Retired official, let's put it that way. Too many knee surgeries.
Now down by 21. Can he cut into the deficit? No, didn't even hit the rim. Luke Collinsworth has been unconscious at times tonight, but that time a little asleep from beyond the arc. Less than 90 seconds. I get a foul here as BJ Wesley drove. Scoreless in 12 minutes on Wednesday, scoreless in just 5 minutes against this team a couple weeks ago. But he's got on the board a couple times. Look at a couple chances at the line. Silent here from Hobart Arena. And despite the best efforts from the student section blessing the shot, it was a miss. Wesley, a freshman, a handful of key contributors this season for Rose-Hulman in their first year at this fantastic school, and he's no exception. I mean, we talked about the historic season that Joey Schmitz is going on, the Center Grove product. They have plenty of intrigue in the next couple years. Nick Sales with a talented roster. "70 seconds remain."
Even at their what they're losing, McGowan, you know, they've got Pride behind him, who's coming up. He'll be a junior. So yeah, I like what they return. They're going to be dangerous in the HCAC next season. Not that they aren't going to be for the rest of this tournament, because they could certainly win this whole thing.
And now the bench clears for Rose-Hulman. You just saw Miles McGowan, the senior, go over and give a high five to his competitor, Luke Collinsworth. They've gone back and forth all game. It's been a lot of fun to watch those two. Now the bench clears for Toby Kerrigan's squad as well. The final minute, we got some reserves into the game, as it is a 20-point lead for Rose-Hulman.
Be really interesting to talk to Collinsworth about what led to the decision to play out the rest of his eligibility on the basketball court. He's done a nice job today.
Again, he was a 3-star offensive tackle, as we get an offensive foul before the Ashton Sylvester attempted 3. So Collinsworth, a 3-star offensive tackle that played at Division I Cincinnati. That was 2020 when they went to the college football playoff. That's a top 4 team in the nation. Well, like you said, he decided to switch gears and go down the road to play at Mount St. Joseph in basketball, as Braden Miller punches one through from range.
Collinsworth finishes with 22 today.
Goodness.
Played 35 minutes.
Like you said, exhausting his eligibility. The senior was the HCAC Newcomer of the Year in 2023. All-conference team, first team last year, and I'm sure he's going to be on the first team all-conference list again this year. Here's the drive. A miss from Wesley. Good defense. Final few seconds from Rose-Hulman. They'll tick off the clock just like that. The 3-seeded Fightin' Engineers live to fight another day. They advance to the semifinal round of the HCAC men's basketball tournament. What a game, a big-time lead. Took it early and never looked back. The Fightin' Engineers with a performance to remember in front of the home crowd.
So I started working on Babcock Ranch 16 years ago. We designed a sustainable community that is also storm resilient, and also it has a ton of flood control associated with it. It has 75 megawatt solar facilities on site, which will cover the entire 18,000 acre community. In September of 2022, we had Hurricane Ian. We had 150 mile an hour sustained winds for about 10 hours and 21 inches of rain. Babcock really had little to no damage at all. We were the only place in a 2-county area that had any electric or any available drinking water that did not need to be boiled. And Rose really prepares you to go out, think outside the box, and problem solve. And I think for any major at Rose-Hulman, that's what you're getting. You have the ability to go out and create something new and innovate and change the way that we live as humans today.
It's a 17-point dominant win for Rose-Hulman in front of the home crowd, and you see a good chunk of that crowd right there, the student section, as this squad wins the first game of the HCHC men's basketball tournament. They win, they will move on to fight again next Friday night against either 2-seed Franklin, that would be on the road, or at home against 7-seed Berea. This is the Morales Group post-game show, in business to create a better future for you and for your family. That aforementioned game that this squad will now go to the locker room and watch the final 2 minutes of, tied at 74. It was a 10-point lead for Berea, the 11 and 14 underdogs. Well, now Franklin College came back, roared back, and tied this one up. So a good game over there, and will determine whether Rose-Hulman gets another home game next Friday or if they have to hit the road. And then the championship game of this conference tournament will take place next Saturday. Again, what's at stake? The winner of this tournament gets an automatic bid in the NCAA National Tournament in Division III. So big time win here for Rose-Hulman. Let's talk about the Piper Logistics Player of the Game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Benny Smith, an obvious choice. He didn't even have a huge second half, but his first half was so impressive. He ends up with 21 points for Rose-Hulman, 5 of 7 from three-point range.
A career-high 21 points. His previous was 16. He shattered that in the first half. Had no issues knocking down the three ball, and a big reason why this squad jumped out to the lead it did. We had 6 early lead changes. The first 8 minutes of the game went back and forth. In fact, Rose-Hulman trailed after the under-12 media timeout, but Smith, the big reason why they were able to take the lead and eventually continue to grow it. He had his team's first 8 points, didn't look back, hit some great shots in the first and second half. So congratulations to the Piper Logistics Player of the Game. He was huge. Piper Logistics, your trusted logistics partner since 1994. So Rose-Hulman will fight again next Friday night, either at 2-seed Franklin or here at home against 7-seed Berea. Our broadcast crew, a big thank you here, RHIT.TV. Our director is Ben Wood. Our camera operators, Brianna Finch and Caden Colford. Chris, it was a pleasure calling the game with you. A dominant win, a 17-point advantage here at the end for Rose-Hulman.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch Nick Sales and his team come over and acknowledge the student section as well. That was a fun moment. They certainly earned it, both the players and the fans as well.
The game to watch now, Rose-Hulman certainly following it in the locker room. A 76-point tie at Franklin with 1:48 to go in that one. So, in fact, Franklin College just took the lead, 77-76. So, either at Franklin, 2-seed next Friday, or here at home against 7-seed Berea. They will certainly be rooting for Berea in that one. A big thank you to our broadcast crew. Chris, it was a pleasure. Nathaniel Finch signing off from Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, a 17-point win for the Fightin' Engineers.